Hello and welcome back to Zulu's reading of Wild Card Peculiar Tricks by A Barrel of Fun. Okay, that was anticlimactic. I had been really expecting the rows of impressive guards and the monstrous red tooth, but disappointing really. I have psyched up myself for a boss battle and got nothing really. Summer and Iron began to check the room for any hidden guards. The two experienced fighters rustled atop of the guards without enemy's sight. I was far less cautious, simply sauntering straight down the center of the room and towards the throne. As I reached the large stone seat, I leapt upon that. I was standing on the armrest with my head poking over the back. The space behind the throne, like the rest enormous chamber, was lit by flickering torches that set into a mountainous wall. The whistling light danced over the faces of the fools trapped inside the rusty cage, illuminating their terrified eyes. They gazing at me with a combustion of fear and curiosity. Some of them flinched away from me. Whatever these foes had been through at Red Tooth Pulse has clearly left them damaged. I swallowed my anger in this mistreatment of innocents. Didn't want to show any anger in front of the fools. Instead, I replaced it with my best showman smile. Showtime. Hey there, young uns. This is Amazing Ace, Magician Extraordinary. I am here to perform a very special trick. You all remember that big old meanie red tooth? They all nodded nervously. Well, I'm going to make all of his lace completely disappear. Now the nervousness and fear was transformed, as if by magic, into excitement at the prospect of freedom. I noticed their wide eyes shot down to the side of the throne room, and I followed their gaze. Saw Summer peeking her head at the throne. I had been at least 10 minutes since I last annoyed her. Hey, I wonder if I can make her a face off. And this is Summer Storm, my lovely assistant. We do this amazing trick with we do this amazing trick where I saw her in half before putting her back together. Also, she looked damn good in a shiny leotard. I sent her a cheeky wink at the smiles while eliciting giggles from them. As for Summer, face, hoof, contact, jackpot. Ignore the idiot children. His terrible role model. Ace, quit joking around and pick this lock. We don't know how long before Red Tooth shows up. I was starting to feel my sense of humor begin completely appreciate appreciate appreciate. It was all just do this, do that. Try to be serious. We are in life-threatening danger. Bah! Damn publicans. I leapt over the throne, throwing my body fully over the back, ending almost upsetting several pots were stacked directly behind the seat. Who set this pot behind the throne anyway? I wonder that red tooth kept inside. Fine wine, treasure, secret of an intimate nature. Whatever it is, I bet this was valuable. but curiosity may well have been one of many dangerous traits. It certainly got me into plenty of troubles in the past. However, it was something far more important than me satisfying my curiosity at the moment. Got to free these fools first. I bent down to examine the lock that kept them contained in the cage. It looked far simpler than the one's unicorn horn rings. The fool's cage lock was a lot chunkier and had clearly just been chosen because it looked large and impressive. In my experience, the larger locks are just compensation for a lack of intricate mechanism. I wonder what else Redtooth is compensation for. Oh dear. It was also easier thanks to the illumination amount of torches that Redtooth had around in his throne was ridiculous. The effectively eliminated any shadows, but had the downside of particularly turning the area into an oven. I found myself sweating under the thigh of the torches, under the light of the torches. I couldn't even begin to imagine how bad it must have been for the fools with the furry coats. There was such a satisfaction clunk from the lock when as the mechanism inside yielded to my probing. I quickly yanked the lock off and pulled the cage open, releasing the fools. My heart was warmed as they stumbled out of the cage, smile threatening to spill their faces in half. Split their faces in half. I had no idea how long they had been locked in there, but I appreciate been long enough to weaken under the undeveloped legs. I called Summer and Iron over with a wave of my hand. Guys, the fools out here, well, foals, they are going to need some help walking. What about you? Summer asked, began to lift the foals with her telekinesis. I'll catch up. I'm just a bit curious about Redtooth's stash. I think I'm going to rob him. Alright, be careful. Don't die, kid, Ironwill added, his way overflowing with foes. He barely could hold on to that adorableness. I feel you, man, I feel you. Don't worry, I'm not out. If I'm not out in 10 minutes, we'll leave you behind and go for the group. No, you get back here and rescue me. I don't want to die. This got a chuckle from Summer and Iron as well as a giggle from the fools. Screw them. I wasn't kidding. They left evacuating the fools from the throne room, which I inspected the seal of the large post. Most of them apprehended to be sealed tight with some kind of binding wax. I would need a crowbar or something to break the seal of those. When's Gordon Freeman? Where is Gordon Freeman when you need him? He's everywhere, man. He's everywhere. That's what's this now? One jar's at the end had its seal already broken. How fortunate! I grabbed the top of the pot and pulled it away, allowing me to see the contents. I had been expecting gold, perhaps some gems, but what I got were entirely different. It was liquid, but definitely wasn't wine. At first I thought the jar was to be empty, as all I could see was darkness. However, I realized it wasn't the case. There was darkness appeared to move, twisting around, sloughing around the confidence of the pot without any hesitance. I felt myself entranced by this strange movement. How the light of the torches seemed to be absorbed by its beauty. How it danced with a wild energy. The urge to consume it, to taste the sweet nectar, threatened to overwhelm me. Just a little sip. That wouldn't be too bad. It could make me stronger, stronger enough to defeat Red Tooth, to save everyone. I wouldn't need anyone else. Just me, the king of the world. I reached into the jar, scooping up some of the miracle liquid into my hand. It was so beautiful to behold. How could I possibly have thought it just pure darkness? It was clearly the brightest liquid in the world. It seemed to shine with lights of its own, not need any illumination from a torch. Unlike other drinks, which would flow with a wild Abaddon tried to escape from any land hand that cupped them. This fine brew stayed in my hand, eager to be tasted, complied its enthusiastic entry, raising my hand to my lips to sup up of the fabulous liquid. I was just about to swallow, allow the drink to flow past my lips. I was interrupted by a flushing sound and the opening of a door. I glanced up the enchanting liquid to see Red Tooth entering room, flanked by four torch-carrying guards. Clutching between his paws was a small pink towel, uh, which he was drying his furry paws. His look up from his clinging as saw me, standing next to his throne. A handful of his precious drink raised it to my lips. Awkward. My eyes noticed the small tower he held. In a moment of horrible clarity, noted the friendly edges of the embroidered RT done on the purple one corner of the cloth. The sight of the towel, so put of place, being held by the giant dog, seemed to cause a short circuit inside the hilarity uh, computation part of my brain. It was too much. He looked completely ridiculous, and it was just too much for me. I idly noted that the drink was falling from my grasp as my brain failed to process the scene in front of me, and my hand went limp. The foul liquid formed a puddle at my hooves. My brain worked overtime as I tried to process what Redtooth, the Mad Alpha, an entire clan of intimidating diamond dogs, was doing with a small, fluffy towel. Maybe he just strangled someone to death with it. You know, for the irony. Wait a minute. Flushing out, wiping his paw. Had it just been next to his throne room with his guards? Who the hell has accompanied guards to the bathroom? I don't even think the paranoid rulers on back on Earth do that. Okay, I'm officially getting my disgust as Red Tooth lack of personality space issue. I'm no more concerned with his angrily glaring at me with the intention of murder clear his face. Eventually, he does like people touching his drink. I remember that for next time. Who the hell? And it's like that. Who the hell do you think you are? He roared at me, spittle flying between his teeth. Sure, I'm glad I'm not one of his guards. The amount of spit of this guy throwing about must be a very damp job. That's a good question. Who am I? We don't all ask ourselves that question at some point of our life. Who are we? What's our place in this universe? I'm real. Am I even real? How can I be such a thing? Far greater than the mind have pronounced and questions sensed immaterial and have, as a collective, been stumbled. Is there truly an answer out there? Or can we just not comprehend it? Whatever, I'm guessing that you are philosophical kind and are actually simply inquiring my identity, to which I must answer truly. I leapt up onto a throne, a hoofs balancing on either handrest, throwing my hands out while I screamed, Voila! A name is but a function, a very way to identify an individual. Thus, a name should have given individual of their personality, as well as limited of their abilities. So you can call me Amazing Ace, Magician, or Extraordinary. The confusion on the dogs' faces deepened as they they couldn't even understand. Confusion on the violet people, that probably not the greatest strategy. Confused people tend to fall back on they know what these dogs know is. Kill him, Redtooth ordering to his guards, lowering the spears and shards toward me. That. The guards were quick to close the distance with me, the looping charges giving them great speed. However, I was ready for them. I reached into one of my pouches and pulled out an item, which most was considered to be the most industrious and harmless substance in the world. Corn stash. Purchasable at nearly any market and found in bakeries everywhere, was nearly incapable of causing any damage on its own. However, when oxygen and combined with flame source, such as many torches surrounding me, it could suddenly became quite dangerous. I grabbed a handful of powder and threw them into my mouth, simultaneously grabbing a torch from his bracket on the other hand. The guards were right in front of me, now thrust the spears toward and the annoyance that was my existence. They was certainly well trained. Each of them aimed their weapon to pinpoint precision at my chest. Each spear on its own would have been a killing blow, but together they would impale me to this throne with ease. Best not let that happen then. I kept up. Oh, sorry. I leapt up, drawing my knees up to my chest as I jumped, allowing the spears to pass harmless beneath me. The heads of the spears impaled the back of the throne with a satisfying crack, splintering the rock and trapping the spears there. The dogs barely had time to react before I landed on a makeshift platform combined the spear's thrust had created and stared at them, raising the torch to my mouth. Would I have said one liner about now how unfortunate my mouth was full of oxygenated and now flammable corn stash. I made just a wiggle with my eyebrows, suggestive at the dogs. It's just not the same. I spat the corn stash directly at the flaming torch, pointing the surprised faces at the guards. The stash, short, frowning, forward, my mouth hitting the fire, igniting before continuing his deadly journey directly into the guard's face. The guards fell back, howling, paws at their heads as the flames took hold. I was only surprised the effectiveness of this attack. I was expecting it just to disorient them, maybe ruin their eyesight for a bit. I could make so I could make my escape, and against the humans, that was exactly what it would have done. The lack of liquid accelerants such as propane made the cornstarch flamethrower rather ineffective as an actual weapon. The flames would dissipate now instead without anything to keep it going. A human would have been able to swipe the flames away with a clothed arm, as many cloths have a form of fire resistance built in. In addition, humans, unlike diamond dogs, don't have fur coats, which it turns out are quite flammable. Who knew? The dogs ran past Breadtooth, who swiped them ineffectively in anger. The guards ignore his rage, far concerned with the fact that their faces were on fire. I like these guys. They got their priorities straight. They disappeared into what's presumed to be a bathroom, extinguished the fire, leaving me and Redtooth alone. So, my thick, my next, so my next trick is what I like to call getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to need some audience practitioner on this one. How how about you, sir? The huge ugly guy with a face not even a mother could love. Just turn around, close your eyes, and count to 100. Surprisingly, Redtooth didn't want to participate in my trick. I tell you, some people just have no sense for dramatic. Rather than complying with my instruction, he roared and charged at me, I'm sprawling wide and claws out. Okay, I have faced hecklers before. You just need to take a firm approach with them. He reached the edge of the dais and was about to ascend a swipe at me. I leapt forward, using the impalement spears as my springboard to send me soaring over his head. He vainly attempted to catch my flying form with his claws, but I was too swift for him, passing clean over him, landing on my hooves with my arms outstretched, either side like in gymnastics. I took a sweeping bow at the imaginary audience, pretending to throw a kiss at them in return for the applause. The, the door behind me was smashing open, and I finally turned around, expecting more guards. However, for once I was pleasantly surprised to find someone not to kill me. Iron and Summer stood on either side, foul free and ready for battle. They come back for me. Alright. Paws off the idiot. He's ours. Care. It's a real subjective word. Oh well, I can roll with it. Give it up, Redtooth is over. Despite feeling like a massive cliche for saying that, I still felt like it's fairly effective. Redtooth glared at us, growling, flexed his paws, brandishing his claws. I could see him assessing his chance at beating us to harness. I couldn't like it to be his position right now. I will probably take him on his own. With me and Summer backing him up, the outcome would be inevitable. Redtooth apparently figured this out as well, as he sheathed his claws and began back down. Thanks, goddess. I have worried that this would end in violence. Just as we began to lower our guard, Redtooth acted. He leapt over to the open jar at the side of his throat and grabbed it, raising it to his mouth, began to chug the foul content. We could only stare in confusion as he downed the entire pot, throwing it to the side as he was finished. He grabbed his stomach in pain, clutching it and howling. I saw his fur, already sickly white, begin to fall away from his body as lumps rose under his skin. The bump started in his stomach, then began to move throughout his body, worming around under his skin. Redtooth began to rip at the lumps, tearing away the fur and even the skin in his panic to get at them. The lumps beneath his skin began to move as one, leading up his body and towering towards his head. He clawed desperately at them, trying to stop their advances in his wall in vain. The lumps concealed into a single lump on top of his head, squirmishing about and stretching his skin. Redtooth let out a final howl in pain, desperate before with a sickening popping sound, his head exploded. Gore splattered onwards. The diamond dogs fell now headless. I felt sick at the sight of it. Outright of movies, I had never seen anything so gruesome. Redtooth had been a villain, but he didn't deserve whatever it was. No one did. I was about to turn my way and leave, no longer able to handle the sight of the corpse, when I noticed some movement in the corner of my eye. One looked in horror at oh, I need to read that again. I was about to turn away to leave before I no longer handled the sight of the corpse, when I noticed some movements in the corner of my eye. That couldn't be right. Oh dear. That couldn't be right. I'm not expecting on a diamond dog physiology, but I'm pretty sure that they need a head to live. Redtooth's body was convulsing in the ground, crawling at the floor, kicking out at the pots behind me, knocking many of them over. They shattered, releasing the dark liquid which began to pool around Redtooth's headless corpse. As soon as the liquid touched the body, stumps where his head used to be were a gurgling sound as the water began to rush into his neck, which greatly absorbed the drink. We looked in horror as the creature that once been Redtooth began to change. The remainder of his fur fell out, and the skin beneath began to change color from pale pink to feebly to forcibly black. His muscles expanded to a grotesque proportion. He grew that he towered above us. His claws was fearsome, even by diamond dog standard, extended into further until it appeared to have claymores on the end of each finger. The worst of all, that he was a safer stump that had been from Lass's stump that had once held the head of the vicious Alpha grew something far worse. Multiple necks split in from the main stump, each one pure jet black. They grew outward, extending to horrific length until eventually stopped at the stump and began to split. Ravenous, razor-sharp teeth, the black skin above the mouth split into reveal Slaven red eyes. I wondered if one of the creatures in front of me retrained some parts of Redtooth mind, as all the heads looks like their red gazes into me when unnatural hated. I barely manage to stop when he's from knocking together in fear at the monsters. Snakehead hissed at me. Huh? That's one hell of a trick. Yeah, I can rely on that one. Oh well, that was chapter 7, Peculiar Tricks. And yeah, that I'm going to continue reading up next chapter, maybe a bit later or directly after this one. Who knows? But see you next video. See ya!